Yes, I did it. I didn't want you to have a baby boy, Amaka shouted. You took my man. You took my place. Everything you're enjoying was supposed to be mine. This was not how their story began. They were sisters, best friends, inseparable. Until love, jealousy, and silence turned blood into a battlefield. Welcome to African Tales by Chinwa, breathing life into African tales. Many years ago, in a busy neighborhood in Abia State, lived two sisters named Amaka and Adana with their parents. Their home was simple but full of life, the kind where the generator hummed in the evenings and neighbors greeted each other across balconies. Amaka was the elder sister, calm and responsible, always thinking ahead. Adana, younger and more expressive, was full of energy and opinions. They were different in personality, but inseparable in spirit. They shared everything, from clothes and shoes to late-night conversations after lights out. If one was happy, the other felt it. If one was hurting, the other knew without asking. They moved in the same circle of friends and defended each other fiercely. Even when they argued, it never lasted long. By the end of the day, they were always back together, laughing over something small. Their parents often said raising them felt easy because the girls always had each other. To outsiders, their bond looked perfect, unbreakable. One fateful day, their mother had called out to Amaka in a hurry. "Amaka, please rush to the market and get vegetables for tonight's dinner," she said, already busy in the kitchen. Amaka grabbed her bag and left. She was already halfway across the road as Amaka tried to cross the road without noticing. A car screeched to a sudden stop, tires crying out against the tar. Amaka froze, her heart slamming hard against her chest. For a second, the world tilted. She had almost been hit. The driver's door flew open. "Hey, are you okay?" the man asked urgently as he rushed toward her. Amaka couldn't answer. She was still trying to breathe, still trying to understand how close she had come to disaster. Then she lifted her eyes and forgot everything else. He was standing right in front of her, tall, striking, composed, even with concern written plainly on his face. Her fear melted into something else entirely. Her eyes widened. Her mind went blank. "You need to be careful next time," he said gently, not angry, just firm. "Please look properly before crossing." She nodded, though she barely heard him. Her thoughts had wandered far from the road, far from the car. She was lost, staring, caught in the quiet shock of his presence. He stretched out his hand slightly. "By the way, I'm Emika. And you?" She didn't move. "Miss?" he added, tapping her hand lightly. Amaka blinked, startled back to herself. I'm Amaka," she said quickly, embarrassed. He smiled. "Nice to meet you, Amaka. Take care." And just like that, he walked back to his car and drove off, leaving her standing there, heart racing, wondering how a single moment could feel so unforgettable. The moment Amaka stepped into the house, Adana noticed something. "Ah," Adana said, looking up from her phone. "What happened to you? You look like someone that just found her missing rib, or something." Amaka sank onto a chair. "Something happened on my way to the market." Adana sat opposite her. "What happened, talk?" "I almost got hit by a car today." "What?" Adana jumped up. "Amaka!" "But I'm fine," Amaka rushed on. "That's not even the main gist." Adana blinked. "So what is the main gist, please?" Amaka inhaled slowly. "The man driving the car? Adana, he was so handsome." Adana stared at her for 2 seconds, then burst out laughing. "Is that why you're glowing?" "I'm serious," Amaka protested. "When I looked up and saw him, I forgot everything. He spoke to me, Adana. His voice was calm, kind. Adana folded her arms, amused. And he told me his name. He stretched his hand out like this, Amaka demonstrated, her eyes shining. I couldn't even answer at first. My head was blank. So he asked you out? No, Amaka admitted quietly. But I wish he would. I don't know why, but I feel like maybe he's the one. I even imagined him marrying me. Adana gasped dramatically. Marriage? In 5 minutes? Stop, nah, Amaka said, half laughing, half flustered. Adana softened and moved closer. Amaka, calm down. He didn't even ask you out yet. I know, Amaka sighed, but my heart longs for him. Adana smiled knowingly. All right, dream small first. Let him ask for your number before you start naming children. They laughed together. 2 days later, Adana stepped out to the nearby pharmacy. Their father wasn't feeling well, and her mother needed the drugs urgently. It was a simple errand. As she reached for a pack of tablets on the counter, another hand brushed against hers. Sorry, they both said at the same time. Adana looked up and froze. He was standing right there. Tall, neatly dressed. That quiet, rich confidence people carried without trying. Their eyes met and lingered a second too long. No, I'm sorry, he said again, smiling. Please, go ahead. It's fine, Adana replied, suddenly aware of her own smile. One she couldn't control. Something passed between them, soft, electric, unexpected. I'm Emika, he said after a pause. What's your name? Adana, she answered, still holding his gaze. Nice to meet you, Adana. She laughed lightly. Nice to meet you too. They stood there, neither in a hurry to leave. Even Emika felt it, the strange pull, the quiet shift in his chest. This wasn't normal. This was instant. Can I get your number? He asked, almost shy. Maybe we could talk sometime. Adana hesitated for half a second, then nodded. Okay. They exchanged numbers, smiled again. I'll call you, he said. I'll be expecting it, she replied. They waved goodbye, both walking away with the same thought. From the day Adana's phone stopped resting, he called in the mornings, his voice low and warm. Did you sleep well? At night, his calls lingered, soft laughter slipping between pauses. Don't fall asleep yet. Let me hear your voice more. Days passed, then weeks. The calls became steady. Adana found herself smiling at her phone for no reason, replaying his messages in her head while doing chores. Love had crept in quietly and settled. One evening, Emika laughed softly on the line. You know I've been making you smile too much lately, Adana scoffed. You're imagining things. He teased. So you're not in love? She waved it off stylishly, pretending to be busy. Please leave me alone. But Emeka knew he had already won her heart. When they finally met again, it was at a quiet spot not far from home. They talked about everything. Then suddenly, he went quiet. Adana, he said gently, looking straight at her. I don't want to waste time. I want to marry you. Her heart skipped. She stared at him, stunned. Are you serious? I've never been more serious in my life. She didn't think twice. She smiled, nodded, and whispered, yes. That night, she couldn't sleep. The next morning, Adana sat Amaka down. Please listen to me, she said, holding her sister's hands. I met someone. Amaka smiled faintly. I know I had always known, but I was waiting patiently to hear it from you. Adana continued. He's kind. He listens. He makes me feel safe. And most of all, he wants to marry me. Amaka's smile froze. Marry you? She asked softly. Yes, Adana said, excited. He's coming with his people soon." There was a long pause. "And you were just telling me?" asked Amaka. "I'm sorry, Yami. I wanted to be sure what we were doing first." Amaka forced a smile. That's good." Emeka arrived with his people that afternoon, dressed neatly, respectful and confident. Laughter filled the compound. Formal greetings were exchanged. Their parents beamed with pride. Then Amaka saw him. Her breath caught. Her heart dropped. It was him, the man from the road, the man she had carried in her heart since that day, her dream man. Emeka didn't notice her, but Amaka froze, rage flooding her chest so fast it made her dizzy. Without a word, she grabbed Adana's arm and dragged her behind the house. "So you really did this?" Amaka snapped, her voice trembling with fury. "You stole my man?" Adana frowned. "Amaka, what are you saying?" "Don't pretend," Amaka exploded. "You knew he was the one I told you about. You knew and still took him from me." "That's not true," Adana shot back, shaken. "I never knew it was the same person." "Liar," Amaka hissed. Adana swallowed hard. "He never asked you out. He never collected your number. He only apologized for almost hitting you. That was all." Amaka laughed bitterly. "So my feelings don't count." Her eyes burned with tears she refused to let fall. "If you go ahead with this marriage, Adana, don't call me your sister again. I will never forgive you. Never." Adana stood there, shattered, as joy continued outside, unaware that love had just turned into war inside that house. Adana went ahead with the marriage carrying one quiet belief in her heart. Time would heal this. She told herself that after everything settled, after the celebrations ended and real, she would kneel if she had to. She would beg. Her sister would forgive her. Things would return to the way they were. The marriage came and went. Laughter, pictures, blessings. Amaka attended, calm on the surface, distant underneath. Not long after, Adana and Emeka went to see her. They didn't go proudly. They went humbly. Adana knelt first. "Sister, please," she cried, gripping Amaka's hands. "I know you're hurt. I never meant to hurt you. Please forgive me." Emeka followed. "Amaka," he said quietly, sincerely, "I need you to hear me. I never loved you. I never intended to lead you on. That day I was only being kind because I almost hurt you. I'm sorry if my actions gave you the wrong impression. Adana is the woman I love. She is the one I chose." Amaka listened without interrupting, her face unreadable. Their parents later joined. They pleaded. They reminded her of sisterhood, of blood, of peace. After a long silence, Amaka sighed. "I forgive you," she said. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, but it was enough. Life slowly returned to normal. Emeka had set Adana up, a proper business. He encouraged her education, paid her fees, pushed her to grow. Adana was schooling, thriving, becoming confident. Amaka praised her. "I'm proud of you," she said with a smile, and Adana believed her. Months later, Adana's pregnancy brought joy into their lives. When Amaka visited after the news broke, she came with smiles, soft touches on Adana's belly, and prayers whispered under her breath. Everything felt right. When it was time for the gender reveal party, the house filled again with laughter and excitement. Balloons popped, cheers erupted. "A baby boy!" The room exploded with celebration. Emeka lifted Adana in joy. Amaka clapped and smiled, calm and composed. That night, Adana slept smiling, her heart full. Then a bad dream came. She saw a serpent, long, dark, cold. It crawled slowly over her legs, her stomach, her chest, until it wrapped itself tightly around her body. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. She woke up with a sharp gasp, drenched in sweat. "Adana, what is it?" Emeka asked, sitting up quickly. She told him everything, her voice shaking. He listened, then pulled her close. "It's just a dream," he said softly. "Pregnancy dreams. Nothing more." She nodded. Eventually, she slept again. When she went into labor, everyone waited eagerly for the baby boy they had celebrated. But the cry that filled the room belonged to a baby girl. Adana was confused, shocked. How could the scan be wrong? Still, she smiled. A child was a blessing. Time passed. She got pregnant again. Once more, Amaka visited. Once more, she stayed close. Once more, the gender reveal announced a baby boy. Celebration followed. That night, the dream returned. The same serpent, the same tightening grip, the same fear. And again, she gave birth to a baby girl. By the third pregnancy, Adana became so worried. Amaka came again, as she always did. The gender reveal this time announced a baby girl. There was no loud celebration, just polite smiles. That night, Adana slept. No serpent, no fear, no sudden waking. She slept deeply and peacefully. When she gave birth, it was a baby girl. That was when the questions began. Why was it that when a boy was announced, the dream came and a girl arrived? Why was it that when a girl was announced, there was no dream and a girl still arrived? The pattern sat heavy in her chest. One evening, she finally spoke to Emeka. "Have you noticed something strange?" she asked quietly. He glanced up. "Strange how?" She explained everything, slowly, carefully. The dreams, the pattern, the difference. Emeka sighed and shook his head gently. "Adana, you're overthinking this. Dreams are dreams. When God decides to give us a son, He will." She nodded, but her heart wasn't at rest, because in their culture, a baby boy was not just a desire, it was a necessity, a lineage, a name carrier. Without a son, whispers would come, pressure would rise, and eventually, Emeka would be pushed to marry another woman. Adana feared that day with everything in her. She loved her husband. She loved her home. She loved her children. She didn't want another woman sharing her place. Adana became pregnant again. This time, something inside her was different. She wasn't excited the way she used to be. She wasn't anxious either. She was watchful, careful, as though life had taught her to listen between the lines. Amaka came around as usual. She smiled. She touched Adana's belly. She prayed. Everything looked the same, but Adana's mind was not. When she went for her scan, she demanded to know the gender herself for the first time. The doctor glanced at the screen for a while, then spoke casually. "It's a baby boy." Adana's heart skipped. Her palms went cold. A thought struck her so suddenly it felt like someone whispered it directly into her ear. "Doctor," she said quickly, lowering her voice, "please, can you change it on?" "The result?" The doctor frowned. "Change it? Why?" She swallowed hard. "Please, it's better that way. I'll explain later." He looked at her for a long moment. "Madam, are you sure?" "Yes," she whispered. "Please." After a pause, he sighed and adjusted the report. On the day of the gender reveal, the party was colorful and loud, just like the others. Music, laughter, cameras flashing. When the reveal came, pink filled the air. "A baby girl." People clapped, but the cheers were softer this time. Polite, familiar, no surprise. Amaka smiled calmly. Emeka nodded and hugged Adana. That night, Adana slept peacefully again. No snake, no fear, no sudden waking, just peace. When labor came, it came strong. Hours passed. Pain came in waves. Then finally, a loud cry filled the room. "It's a boy," the nurse announced. Adana froze. "A boy?" she whispered. "Yes, madam, a healthy baby boy." Tears poured down her face. Relief, shock, gratitude, fear, everything mixed together. When Amika carried the baby, he laughed and cried at the same time. "God has done it," he said, holding her hand tightly. Adana smiled weakly, but her heart was racing. That night, as she lay awake holding her son, one thought kept echoing in her mind. So it wasn't a mistake after all. She remembered the dreams, the serpents, the pattern, and for the first time the truth felt too heavy to ignore. The news spread fast. A baby boy. Before the joy could fully settle in the house, Amaka arrived. Amaka had stepped out a few minutes earlier. Amaka didn't knock properly. She didn't smile. The moment she stepped inside and saw the baby wrapped in blue, the words slipped out of her mouth before her mind could catch them. "I don't understand," she said slowly. How did you give birth to a baby boy?" The room went quiet. Adana looked up at her, confused, tired, still weak from childbirth. "What do you mean, Amaka?" Amaka took a step closer, her eyes fixed on the baby. "I thought it was a baby girl. You were supposed to just have girls and nothing more," she said, then paused, as if she had said too much. Adana froze. Her heart skipped violently. In that instant, everything connected. The dreams, the patterns, the visits, the timing. "What did you just say?" Adana whispered. Amaka's lips trembled. She opened her mouth, closed it, then laughed nervously. "I don't know why I said that. I didn't mean it like—" But something snapped inside her. Suddenly, she screamed, "Yes, yes, I did it!" Her voice cracked as she shouted again. "I did it!" The room shook. "I didn't want you to have a baby boy," Amaka cried. "You took my man. You took my place. Everything you're enjoying now was supposed to be mine." Adana's body went cold. "I saw him first," Amaka continued, pacing wildly. "I wanted him first. I dreamed of that life first, but you came and stole him from me. You snatched him and took him away." "That's not true," Adana sobbed, shaking her head. "I never knew." "Liar," Amaka screamed. "I'm supposed to be the one in that marriage, not you. I'm supposed to be the one going to school, running a business, carrying his children. Not you." Her voice rose higher, sharper, filled with years of bitterness. "Why is it only you that good things happen to? Why is it always you?" Adana broke down. Tears streamed freely down her face as she clutched her baby tightly. Her whole body shook. She couldn't speak. She couldn't breathe properly. The sister she trusted, the sister she loved, standing in front of her like a stranger. "You did this to me," Adana finally cried. "You watched me suffer. You watched me fear losing my marriage, and you did this." Amaka stopped pacing. For a brief second, guilt flickered across her face. Then it hardened. "You deserved it," she said coldly. "You took my life." Adana wailed, a deep, broken sound that came from somewhere far inside her chest. She was numb, shocked, betrayed. She had forgiven. She had trusted. She had welcomed her sister back into her life. And all along the danger had been sitting beside her, smiling, calling her, "My sister." The baby cried softly. Adana held him tighter, tears dropping onto his tiny face as the truth finally stood naked before her. The war had never ended. Adana wiped her tears slowly. For a long moment she said nothing. The room was heavy, broken only by the soft cry of her baby. Then she lifted her head and looked straight at Amaka. Her voice was calm, but it carried weight. "You know what? Leave my house." Amaka froze. Adana! Leave, she repeated. Now! Something shifted. The power changed hands. I have finally seen the you, Adana continued, her voice steady but shaking underneath. All this time I was begging for peace, praying, blaming myself. Meanwhile, you were the storm. You were the snake in my dreams. Amaka's knees weakened. I didn't mean for it to go this far, she cried. I was hurt. I was angry. I didn't plan it like this. Adana shook her head. You always wanted everything for yourself. Even when life didn't give it to you, you still believed it was yours. My joy offended you. My progress angered you. She stepped closer, tears falling freely now. But I loved you. I loved you from when we were children. I trusted you with my life, with my home, with my children. Amaka dropped to her knees. Please forgive me. Please. I'm your sister. I only wanted to teach you a bitter lesson, and then I went somewhere. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. Adana looked down at her, her heart breaking and hardening at the same time. I will forgive you, she said quietly. But not today. Amaka looked up, hopeful. Not today, Adana repeated. Right now, I don't want you near my house. Not near my husband, not near my children. I need time, I need distance, I need peace. But where will I go? It's already late, Amaka sobbed. Adana turned away, holding her baby tighter. Go and live your life, heal yourself, but you cannot do it here. The words cut deep. Slowly, Amaka stood. She wiped her face, defeated. Without another word, she walked toward the door. At the threshold, she paused, hoping. Adana did not turn back. The door closed. Silence filled the room. Adana sank onto the chair, tears streaming down her face as she kissed her son's forehead. Her heart was shattered, but her home was safe. Not everyone who calls you family is sent to protect you. Some people walk beside you not to help you arrive, but to make sure you never do. Jealousy does not always shout. Sometimes it smiles, prays with you, eats at your table, and waits. Forgiveness is powerful, but wisdom is protection. You can forgive someone and still lock your door. You can love someone and still choose distance. If this story touched you, don't watch it in silence. Like, share, and subscribe to African Tales by Chinwa. Now, tell me in the comments, do you believe jealousy can push someone to destroy the people they claim to love? And if you believe 2026 will be your year of peace, clarity, and answered prayers, type Amen in the comments.